Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Digital Smart Jewelry, how to offer your customers the custom design experience. My name's Diane. I'm part of the marketing team here at Solidscape. Just a few housekeeping items before we begin today's webinar. All participants are in listen-only mode, so your microphone is muted, but we do encourage your questions. So if you have a question, please feel free to type that in the lower right-hand corner of the toolbox panel, and we'll do our best to answer those during the Q&A session at the end. So what we're going to do here is get started today. Very pleased to introduce our panelists that are joining us on our webinar. Gary Dawson, who's the owner of Gary Dawson Designs. He's going to take us through delivering the custom experience to custom or not to custom and some best practices. And then we have the CEO and founder of Two Shapes, Rafael del Molino. And he's going to give us an introduction to Two Shapes and how it's helping retailers offer custom design experience. So what I'd like to do is introduce Gary. Gary has over 40 years experience creating custom designs. He's been featured as the best of the best by In-Store Magazine. He's an accredited CAD CAM trainer. So Gary, I'm going to hand it over to you to take us through your presentation. So thank you.
All right, sure. Let me see if I can get my screen up here. And can you see my screen? I clicked yes.
Yes, I can.
Which one are you seeing?
Bunch of logos.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Hang on a second. How about this?
That's good.
Okay, good. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm glad you could make it here, and I'll just do a quick presentation, kind of a truncated version of a rant that I've been on for over 2 decades. See if I can click through this. Yeah, oops, there we go. Okay, so this is involving tips and approaches to managing the challenge of custom jewelry design. And those of you who do it already know it can be a challenge. Those of you who don't, I hope to be able to, or don't yet do it, I hope to be able to point out ways that you can enter into this lucrative trade that we have right now, giving the client what they want without going crazy. It happens sometimes. All right. As I said, I've been kind of on this track, this rant for over 2 decades. You can see that in August 2000, I wrote an article for AJM magazine, what has become MJSA magazine, about custom design and tips for ensuring customer satisfaction. So it's been an important thing to me. I've got nearly 45 years at this point of doing custom work. And so custom has kind of always been my thing. But I recently got some validation in terms of how important custom is becoming to our industry. Actually, I remember sitting with Rich Yeomans probably 25 years ago he came down to Tucson where I was doing a presentation for MJSA. And we were at dinner and he said something about, well, what's your vision for the jewelry industry going into the future? And I remember saying something like, I'd like to see a little custom mom and pop shop on just about every other block in every city, and a little more regionalism developing, and maybe not so much mass-produced jewelry, because I think that's what the customer wants. And that was clear back a couple of decades ago. The affirmation that I got recently was with Nance Ayland and Charles Luton Brain did a presentation at this last year's Santa Fe Symposium called Identifying Long-Term Trends for Future Jewelry Design. And one of the quotes I pulled from her presentation, which you can download for free, by the way, at the Santa Fe Symposium website. I just did a quick screenshot here of what it looks like when you get there. Go to Santa Fe Symposium, go to papers, search for Nance Ayland, and then get this paper and read it. There's a lot of great information there. But I've highlighted some of the important things here. Combating big box store closures, local small businesses and small shop movement with the support of millennials have accounted for 72.4% of total retail sales growth since going clear back to 2016. That's huge. As big box stores are failing, multi store brands are struggling to survive in our industry. Small businesses that can provide a consumer experience. There was a guy named Joe Pine that I borrowed some slides from some years back for another Santa Fe Symposium project that I did, a presentation. And he identified that we have gone through an evolutionary stage of many consumer trends, and we are now, as he identified it, in the it's all about experience. We're in the experiential stage of marketing. People expect an experience, they hope to get an experience, and they expect it now. It's become mainstream. Small business retailers have a huge competitive advantage that none of these bigger, better capitalized and techno-powered retailers have, and that's their personal touch. It is realized not just through the personal service, but by being vital members of the community. So is doing custom work right for you? There are, as I mentioned earlier in this, pros and cons for sure. Some of the pros include, for me at least, a huge amount of job satisfaction, flexible pricing. I'll elaborate just a little bit on that. If you're offering something that's unique in the marketplace, you can, up to a point at least, price it however you want to. The custom experience, because it's not, I think what happened in the jewelry industry over the last many decades is that it became a race to the bottom. There's a huge people, big box stores and a lot of jewelry operations are competing for pennies on the lower end of the market. How can we make this product less expensive? How can we make it lighter weight to utilize less precious metals? And how can we offer it to the consumer in a streamlined, very cost-effective manner? And that doesn't seem to be any longer what people really want. They, as I said a few minutes ago, they want an experience, and you can price your experience. It needs to be competitive, of course. You can't price yourself out of the market, but you have a great deal of flexibility in your pricing if you can offer a unique product. It's a huge advantage. Potential for add-on sales and client loyalty are huge. If you make someone's not just their day, but if you make an event for them, something as important as perhaps a wedding or an anniversary or some other important life event, then they're going to come back to you time and time again in their life, and they're going to want more of your expertise and your design excellence. Some of the cons that we might encounter doing custom design are client expectations. Let me elaborate on that just a little bit. I think it's a good idea to manage expectations and have that in your mind when you're consulting with clients. Well, here's one example of exactly what I mean by that. When I do a computer design for a client, I do not go to the trouble of trying to produce a photorealistic rendering for them. I keep the renderings that I show them more caricature-like. Actually, we could go back to this first slide and look at the rendering I had in that first slide. And that's an example. I show them what the piece is going to look like, but I try very hard not to make it photorealistic because I think that builds expectations that it may be difficult sometimes to produce in a finished piece of jewelry, because we all know that the manufacturing process is a beast unto itself. And sometimes what you show a client in a rendering that is perfect in every way, photorealistic, can build expectations in a client that are unrealistic. The other thing a lot of times you have to deal with is client indecisiveness. You learn over time, this is something that you may have to work for, but you learn to move people along through the process. There's a concept in small restaurants. The diner is a classic thing. It's called a turnover. You try and get people to turn over, you move them along through the process. You can, some clients take longer to make decisions, but you have to learn the skills it takes to move them along so that you can both have a satisfying experience. People can tend to get stuck. And part of that is managing the options that you give to them. You can actually offer people too many options. Couple dynamics are something that you run into sometimes. There's a thing that I wrote about, I think, in that article that I said earlier on, and I've run into this off and on throughout my 40 some odd year career in doing custom design. And that's that you'll have someone, maybe you'll have a couple seeking commitment jewelry. One party in the couple is very excited about this and can't wait to move it forward. The other one's a little more hesitant. And that can sometimes show up in indecision about the designs that you're presenting to them. The one side of the couple will immediately just love and accept the first thing that you do because they want to just get engaged or they want to get married and they want to do it right away. The other one's going to be a little more thoughtful and move things along. So you have to understand things like couple dynamics and be able to work with those. These topics that I'm pointing out, I just want to bring them to your attention. This presentation that we're doing today is going to be far too short to go into all the intimacies of these techniques that a person might use to manage couple dynamics, for example. Time frame usually isn't a huge issue for me. I can point to another personal experience in my life. My brother also works in metal. He had a welding and repair shop. And we're chatting over a beer one time, and he says, "I hate you, brother." And he says, when people come to you, they've planned for this purchase, they have the money ready, and they're very excited to give you as much time as you need to do the job right. And when people come to me, they're broken down, they're losing money on payroll, and they're facing an unexpected expense. So time frame can be an issue with custom jewelry too. Sometimes people come to you with a request, can you do this really elaborate thing in a week's time? You have to be realistic and understand what your capabilities are. And difficult pricing. I talked about flexible pricing on the pro side of it, but pricing can be difficult too. We'll talk about that just a little bit more in a minute. I would say if you're just breaking into custom design, if you're already doing it, maybe this is old hat to you. But if you're just breaking into it, and even if you are old hat to custom design, maybe it's a good idea to honestly evaluate your skills. What are you best at? What do you really enjoy doing? And then what are your limitations? You can't be everything to everybody. It's something I decided earlier in my career. And there's a certain, I guess because I do custom work, I don't have a specific style format that I fall into. It's pretty eclectic, really, because I get requests from clients that are all over the board. But everybody does have limitations. I'm not great at, nor do I enjoy micro pave. I'm probably not good at it because I don't enjoy it. So I just don't do that. So I'll put a bunch of stones in a ring sometimes, but doing that tedious work of micro pave is not for me. So if somebody comes to me, here's one of my dirty little secrets, and it may be counterintuitive. If somebody wants a ring like that, I'll send them to my friend and competitor across the street or across town that really enjoys that kind of work. Your clients will respect you for that. And that's another thing. Maybe this is a good time to bring this up. It's a counterintuitive thing, but one of the most powerful things you can ever say to anyone, this applies across the board, is I don't know. If you're brave enough to say I don't know and instead of trying to be the expert for every process in your shop, expert about every type of gemstone, it's very powerful to say, I just don't know. I think I know where I can find that information though. And that has everything to do with understanding what your limitations are, being honest about them, and then moving the process forward. And then there's always a learning curve. You can learn new stuff. And that's always, that's something about custom work, I think, that has always been a great deal of satisfaction for me, because every design project is a new challenge. I get to apply new skills often, all the time, and that's a source of great satisfaction for me. So Talking a little bit more about reputation and honesty and integrity. I think I kind of covered that in the last slide. What's the most powerful thing you can ever say to anybody? Do you remember? There might be a test afterwards. It's, I don't know, but communicate those things. Communication, I've got that down 3 times. It's like with real estate, what's the most important thing? Location, location, location. Well, communication in custom work is the most important thing. If you happen to damage somebody's stone, when is the time to communicate that? Is it after you finish the piece of jewelry and you hand it to them and they come back and complain about their damaged stone? No, the time to communicate with them is exactly when it happens. You pick up the phone and you say, I'm so sorry, stuff happens. I did my best job to protect this gemstone, but I managed to damage it. How can I make you happy in this situation? And that's all about communication. And that can be very difficult sometimes if you're if you're like not feeling great about maybe damaging their stone. And that's just one of many examples, you know. If you have to miss a time frame, for example, and I try and remember to tell my clients this, by the way, if I try and remember to tell people, if I have to disappoint you in any way, it's going to be with time frame, but not with the quality of work I do. And going back to the time frame issue in the prior slide that I showed, it's a good idea to say that, especially when people give you a relatively short time frame for your normal production schedule. I always try and remember to say, I'll do my best to make your deadline, but I'm not going to compromise the integrity of what I make for you to do it. All about communication. Here's another little issue. The customer is always right. Well, maybe. You have to remember that you're the guy doing the work. You're the person, you're the woman, you're the designer. And in my case, since I'm a sole lone wolf operator, I believe in the idea, I embrace the idea of sole authorship. So I take my clients all the way from concept to finished piece. And because I do that, I easily have control of the whole situation, but you have to also be able to take control of the interaction you have with your clients. And that leads me to the next slide. It's okay to fire a client. If someone is being difficult with you, you're better to move along in the process and just write that off. I have a policy, for example, and we're going to bleed over into the concept of pricing here. I always get a deposit before I put pencil to paper or computer mouse to screen, if we're doing it that way. Always get a deposit before I actually do design work for people. But I have a policy that says the design is fully refundable until the client commits to the design. In other words, if I can't make them happy with my design efforts, then they get a full refund. No questions, no problem. It's just what I do. Now, in the over 40 years that I've been doing this, I've probably only refunded people 4 or 5 times. And out of that, I bet at least half the time it's been me firing the client. And that has to do with the idea of sometimes expectations are unrealistic. I'm trying to tie all these slides together here, you can tell. Sometimes client expectations are unrealistic. Sometimes they can't make a decision. Sometimes they want countless revisions. Sometimes they're so involved in trying to manage the situation themselves that they just can't let you offer good advice. And that brings me to another point, actually, is that I tell my clients, you know, I'll do pretty much anything you want, but I'm not going to design a piece, or I'm not going to design or manufacture a piece for you that you're going to end up bringing back in 6 months for me to repair, because I hate to repair my own pieces. Hence the micro pave issue that I sometimes throw out there. You know, if you'd better go to the guy over there because they do it better than I do. And maybe that's just because I don't want to deal with that concept of little tiny gemstones all over the place, sometimes in places where they probably shouldn't be. So don't be afraid, you know, and you can fire a client. You don't have to shove them out the door like this picture indicates. you can be very gentle and you can be very progressive and just say, you know, I think we've come to a point here where it's becoming obvious to me that it's going to be difficult for us to continue this project together. So I'd like to offer you the opportunity to get your money back and go someplace else where you might find better satisfaction. Okay to do that. Okay, so now we're going to talk about pricing and policies and how do you value yourself and the idea of pricing uniqueness. That's not an easy thing. You know, you can do time and materials plus profit, sort of the trifecta of pricing concept. But that's not, I feel that that's difficult. Like if you say, for example, to a client, I work for 150 bucks an hour. I think this is going to take 5 hours, but I don't know for sure because you've asked me to do something that's going to be a little bit of a more of a challenge than my typical job. Well, my way around that is that I shoot for a profitable average. I do a flat rate pricing system, and you may think I'm crazy for that, but stand by and listen for a second. The way it works for me, again, is I make good money on the average. I don't make as much money on some projects. If a client or a design execution becomes a little more difficult than I anticipated it was going to be, but overall I make very good money. And again, my average is 150 to 250 bucks an hour for actual work time. But I sort of have pricing levels or pricing categories. I do like a custom band built to client specifications in terms of thickness, width, profile, you know, 100 to 150 bucks, flat labor fee. If they want to, the next stage would be a sort of a minimalistic custom thing. You take that custom band, for example, and then add a few initials to it, raised relief or engraved into the surface. Maybe it bumps up to 300 bucks. And then the next level, I won't elaborate too much because I think we're starting to get a little short on time here. We want to give Rafael plenty of time to give his spiel. Don't
worry for me.
Yeah, no, it's good. Anyway, now I lost my thought. I was flirting with my friend there and forgot what I was saying. The idea is that, oh yeah, pricing levels. Okay, so from 300 bucks, typically my next level is 750 bucks in my head. And from 750 bucks, I go to 12 to 1500 bucks. And that's just for the labor. That's for what I call design and production. And that's the entire process of consultation, design development, showing them renderings, doing modifications. And I say that my flat fee will cover as many modifications as you want, unless or until the nature of the project changes substantially. And if I feel like all of a sudden we've gone from a portrait of your poodle to a mountainscape, you know, random thoughts, then I'm going to renegotiate the price with you, and I'll let you know if that happens. You know, and then the sky's the limit, really. If somebody wants a fully articulated horse's head and the tail swishes mechanically and all that kind of stuff, charge as much as you can get for something like that, because they're probably not going to get it anywhere else. But okay, and then there's materials on top of that, and I do a markup on materials. And then sometimes, depending on the complexity of the stone setting involved, I'll have an additional fee for stone setting. But so the deal is, I mean, I work out very well on average, and it's all about the averages. Sometimes it costs you a little bit more, sometimes it costs you a little bit less in terms of time, but the averages work out really well for me, at least. All right, and that's pretty much it. I think that's it's a very broad, very general overview of the idea of custom as it exists in my mind, in my, I would say, highly successful custom business that I've been operating for over 40 years, and the idea that custom is ever more important now. You know, I think that it's as important as it ever has been in our industry specifically. And if you're not doing it, you probably should be. And if you are doing it, always think about ways that you can improve your customer experience. Try and give them a peak experience so that they'll come back to you time and time again. I'd be glad to entertain any questions people have. You can contact me directly. I think mentioned up front, I do some trade work, not a lot. I do mostly retail work in terms of design, but I can consult with you if you end up having issues in terms of either design or custom work with your clients. And I teach CAD. You can reach me through either Gary Dawson Designs or Rhino Jewelry CAD on both websites. And I think Diane probably has my contact information as well.
I do, and we'll be able to share that. And we really appreciate that. That was a lot of great information, and we will have some questions, but what we'll do is go into Rafael's presentation and then do a little Q&A session at the end, if that works. So thank you so much. We really appreciate that, Gary. And what I'd like to do now is introduce Rafael. He is the CEO and founder of 2Shapes, which is a cloud-based solution that enables you to create real-time custom jewelry. He's located in Barcelona, Spain. He's been 15 years in the jewelry sector, 25 years as a computer software developer, and also designed and created Rhino Gold and clay use. So, Rafael, I'm going to turn it over to you to share your presentation and have a chat with us today about 2Shapes.
Okay. Okay, I'm showing my screen. Yes. I don't know if you see the presentation.
Yes, we can see that. If you could just enlarge that a little bit, maybe go into presentation mode. Perfect.
Yeah, because I have two screens and never I know if it's one or the other one.
I know.
Then it was really interesting, Gary, your presentation. Now I will talk about 2Shapes, and first of all, I would like to say thank you to Solitscape to allow me to join. And well, my name is Rafael del Molino. Yeah, I think Danny explained it better than me. And we are 2Shapes, and 2Shapes, we're in Barcelona. We're in a city 20 kilometers to the north of Barcelona. It's Mataró, okay. And we are trying to do software from here. Then we have two products. One is 2Shapes, and the other one is 2Shapes for Rhino. And today I will talk about 2Shapes for Rhino. But before to jump to 2Shapes for Rhino, I would like to just 3 minutes to explain what is 2Shapes. Okay. Then 2Shapes is a new way to sell custom jewelry. Okay. The idea is we try to increase the sales in the stores, and basically the concept is 2Shapes enable to create real-time custom jewelry, transforming your customers in designers. Okay, the idea is a solution that allows that your sales guy with your customer can design something unique. Okay, then let me talk about one of the challenges that the jewelry stores has today. This is worldwide. I think this is worldwide. It's so common that the jewelry stores are offering pretty similar products. In the same area. Okay. Then when you're offering the product and your competitor is offering a similar product, one of the ways to compete with that is reduce the prices. Okay, probably it's not a good solution. It's an extremely bad solution, but it's exactly the same product. We need to reduce the price, and obviously our competitor will reduce the price, and we start a wheel that is not good for nobody. Okay. Other way to get more business is increase the stock. Okay, I get some new designs, but probably your competitors will do the same. Okay, and at the end of the day, you are increasing your stock. Okay, and you need 200 rings to sell one. Okay, and probably it's not the best option also to increase the stock and the stock. Okay, Then analyzing other markets, you can customize everything. You can customize a computer, a car, a house, a kitchen, a sneaker. You can customize everything. But in jewelry, you arrive to the store and you can see a lot of designs, but you cannot customize nothing. Then you don't have any emotional vinculation with the product. Okay. Then what we propose is, okay, try to reduce a little bit the stock. Okay, nobody wants to have stock in the stores, and start to offer custom jewelry. Okay, then the idea is create something unique for your customer, and get it said, you can charge a little bit more for something special. Okay, if I show you 100 rings and you choose one, probably you don't have any emotional vinculation with the product. Then what we are trying to do is to involve the customer and design together something unique. That's the idea. Okay, and that's what we are doing into Shapes. Okay, create a solution for 4 areas. We have a part of the solution is for a store. You enter to my store and we design together. But also we have e-commerce, design, and manufacturing management. Okay, it's 4 areas. Let me talk a little bit about the store. The store, the idea is we have a super nice solution. Is a software that can run in any device. We can design together in an iPad. We can design in a beautiful screen and TV. Okay, and the idea is with a very simple interface, the salespeople or the customer alone can design. Okay, choose some designs that you select. Okay, we offer you some designs, but you choose and the designs and styles that you want to have in your store. And that's the idea is you are designing and also you are seeing the real-time pricing and the delivery date. Okay, we want when the customer enters to the store, they get the final price. Okay, all the delivery time and the pricing is based on your information. Okay, you define the pricing for everything, prototyping, casting, setting. We have a very nice area that you can set all these things. And also the timing, then it's really nice because it's offering you in real time and you change I don't know, any stone and anything, and it's updating everything in real time. That's really nice. Okay. And also you can get the order. Then is the objective when the customer come to the store together we design something and click order, and the customer go out with the order. Okay. Oh, let me check the price. I will analyze for you and all these kind of things. We cannot do that. Okay. We need to get the order, and when we click press order, start everything. Okay. Also, we have the part of e-commerce. Okay, then the idea is we have the same that we are pretty similar that we have in the store, but the same in the e-commerce. Okay, you can offer the same experience in your website. You can offer the customers to select designs and also design and create your own ring, and exactly the same you have in the store, the same in your e-commerce. Okay, and also you can click order. Okay, and get the order. It's really nice. I probably am talking too fast because I don't want to be late. Then the third part of 2Shapes is design. Okay, we have a full solution for design.
We've got some time, so you're good. You're good.
Okay, okay. Then we offer you some designs, but the idea is you can get some designs or start from scratch and create your own styles. Okay. We offer you some elements that you can customize and so on, but also you can change anything that you want. And the good thing is you can design, or the design department can create their designs and then publish it automatically in the e-commerce and also in the stores, and that's super cool. Okay, and also we can import designs. Okay, from Rhino, STL. Okay. Also, we have to create profiles, and it's really nice. It's really nice. It's super easy, and that's the idea. Probably nobody wants to invest 3 months to learn a software, or 2 years to learn a software. Okay, and that's the idea. It must be easy. Okay. And any design, and this is really nice, is you can export to 3DM for Rhino, STL, okay? And by default, the cloud creates all the renders for you. When you design something and you save it, automatically it's creating all the renders for you, okay? Then you have the same style of rendering for your e-commerce, and it's really nice, really nice. And manufacturing, when the customer click order in your store or in your e-commerce, all the manufacturing process start to run and calculate everything, and you can see an order, okay? This day you need to print it, the next day you need to cast it, okay? Setting, quality, packaging, all the things that you want to set, okay? And of course, the manufacturing order also. Okay, this is so fast what is 2Shapes, and now I would like to explain you what is 2Shapes for Rhino. And the idea is I will talk some minutes about 2Shapes for Rhino, and I will show you how we can design something. Okay. Then 2Shapes for Rhino is a plugin for Rhino. Okay, Rhino is a standard, is a 3D modeler, and is a standard in jewelry. I think in US. Is more than 80% of the designers use Rhino or Rhino products like Rhino Gold or like Matrix, okay? But in a lot of countries, in Japan probably the same, Brazil probably the same. I think Rhino is a standard, okay? Then we create a plugin, okay? We create a solution based on Rhino to allow you to design, okay? It has a really clean interface. Okay, focus on jewelry design, but if you are a Rhino user and you like the interface of Rhino, you can use exactly the Rhino interface with all the functionalities. Okay. One interesting thing is we create an intuitive parametric. It means we can modify parameters of our design and recalculate, for example, finger size, stone sizes, everything. Okay, the idea is when you have a design, you can change everything. Okay, other interesting thing is with one click, you send that design to 2Shapes Cloud. Then you can design here and click and go on designing in 2Shapes Cloud, and later modify anything and go back to 2Shapes for Rhino. Then it's two softwares but are working in the same kernel. Okay. And we offer some builders. Now we will see some builders to create a lot of things. Also, we offer you libraries. Okay, there is hundreds of designs. My recommendation is add your own designs. You can add your own designs, and the best thing is you can work in group. Okay, when you create an account in 2Shapes, you can join people. Then you can share designs with your organization, and it's so cool. It's really cool. Okay. Also, you have a lot of advantage of 2Shapes Cloud. You have diamond and gemstones management. Okay. If you have in 2Shapes your stock of diamonds, you can pick these diamonds from 2Shapes for Rhino. Okay. And also you have real-time pricing. Okay, probably to sit in front of a customer, it's easier with 2Shapes Cloud because it's easier. But also here you can have all the real-time pricing. And I repeat, it's following your parameters. Okay, then it will use your currency, it will using all the parameters that you define. But I think the breakout, the breakdown is really nice. Okay. Also, you can create renders. Renders are beautiful images, but also videos. Okay, it's to add more value to the customer. It's true what Gary said that in some cases the renders are perfect. Okay, and you see the stone like this, and wow. Later, when you see a smaller, it's looks different. But the technology is here, and you can create so beautiful images. Okay, we provide you a lot of materials and environments and everything. Okay, and we use Cycles. Cycles is the new render of Rhino 6. Is a super nice rendering. Okay, and the idea is you just drag and drop materials and and done. Really nice. Here's some designs. Okay, some renders. Oops, I think I clicked too fast. Okay, and probably for US it's not important, but it's in 13 languages. Then if you want to learn CAD software and also Portuguese, you can use 2Shapes in Portuguese. And works on Rhino 6 and Rhino 7. Okay. Then let me do a demo for you. Okay. Then we have an icon here. Just double click on 2Shapes for Rhino. We're in development. We are yet in development. Then every week we're updating new betas, but the idea is you can do a lot now and start to work. Okay. But our plans is release. Okay, the developers promise me that it will be in 6 weeks. Okay, I'm not completely sure, but it will be completely finished in 6 weeks, maybe 8. No, we will try in 6. Okay. Then the idea is this is the interface, and the thing is we will try to do this ring. Okay, just a cathedral ring with a halo. Okay. Then the idea is we have everything in tabs. Okay, and now I want to add a shank. Okay, we have different style of shanks, but we will use a cathedral. Okay, then the idea is, and it happens in all the 2Shapes commands. When you click a command, the command shows you something. Okay, and then you can change. Okay, the different styles. As you can see here, we have real-time width. Okay, then when you are changing the design, you see the total width and the carats. Okay, we have 16 stones. Then the idea is you have the standard designs, is all the designs that we provide you, but you can add your own organization designs. Okay, and that's what we recommend you. Okay, but the idea in my case, for example, I will choose the 20. Okay. Now it's computing, and we have. Okay. Then the idea is we can click on edit, and here we can change everything. Okay. By default, I have the British finger size, but I will change to US finger size, and we will choose 7. Okay. And then any change that we do automatically is applied. Okay. Then we can change profiles. We can change a lot of things, probably too much things we can change. Okay, but also the stones, the thing, the everything. But now just will confirm. Okay, and now we have, okay, this cathedral. The idea is by default here we have some global parameters, and this is really nice because all the things that we are designing we have here in the outliner. Then we can change anytime things. For example, the metal is a global parameter. We can change to any metal. Okay, we have all these full list because in 2Shapes Cloud I have defined it to have all the metals, but you can just select what you want. Okay, and then white gold 18. Okay, and then it's changing, and also we have the option. This is really nice because this model is really nice for rendering, but for production we need to have some we need to change some things. For example, the prongs will need to be longer. Okay, then anytime we can change from rendering to manufacturing, and then when we click on manufacturing, now it's editing. Okay, and you see that the prongs following my criterion, and my criterion is 1 millimeter, but I can change that, then increase that. It's really nice. You don't need to modify designs for rendering and for production. Okay, I will change to design, and I will choose rose gold because I think it's okay. Okay, also the finger size and so on, and anytime we can click here and edit. Okay, now I will add a stone. Then to add a stone, I come to gems, and I will add a certificate diamond. Then I click here, and I have a stock Who provide that stock? You. Okay, you can contact to your diamond dealer or multiple diamond dealers, and then import here all the stock. Okay. Then now I will add a 0.4 round, and I add it, and by default we have it here. Okay. Probably I went too fast, but the idea is I can modify the stone, and now I will add a halo. I click to halo, and I need to select a stone. We click the stone, and the same. Now it's creating something. Okay. And we have the standard one. I will choose, okay, this one. The idea is, okay, I want to modify the stone. I can move a little bit, and then it's adapting. Okay. But the same as before, we want to edit anything. We click edit element. And here we have a lot of parameters, the height, the width, the profile. Okay. We have a lot of things that we can change. The channel, the gems, if we want prongs, or we want a scallop, or we want in channel, we can modify everything. Okay. Now I accept. Then the idea is, anytime I want to change anything, for example, I have this design, but probably I will change to a cushion stone. Okay. Then I can come here to round and click here, and I can edit and say, okay, you have the 0.4 round stone, but I will change to cushion. Okay, yeah, is that okay? Is okay, and we have the price, we have everything. Okay, excellent. We click here, and now it's updating the stone, and obviously is updating the halo, because the halo depends on the stone. And all these things is super nice because we can upload to the store, and the customer can change just the halo on the stone, and automatically everything is updated. Okay. And that's the idea. It's a super fast demo. Okay. But let me go on. Then other important thing is 2 shapes for Rhino. It's free. But it's free now. No, it's free forever. Okay, in beta and in the future. Okay. Then any Rhino user can download and can use it and enjoy it. Okay. Also, we offer free technical support and free updates. Okay. Then if you have a question, you can call us, you can write us, you can come to visit us. Okay. I hope in a couple of weeks, everyone can come to Barcelona. Okay. And very easy to start. Just go to twoshapes.com, download, and that's all. We have a lot of videos also in YouTube and also in twoshapes.com/videos. Okay, and I think more or less that's 2 shapes and 2 shapes for Rhino.
That's great. Thank you so much, Rafael. That was a great demo and a good look at 2 shapes. It looks really like a great tool for folks to be able to use. We do have a couple of questions that came in, so we're going to move on to a question and answer session. One of the questions that came in, this one is for Gary. Why not use a crosstown micro stone setter as one of your vendors compared to sending your customer to a competing jeweler?
Okay, my reasoning for doing that is, I think I mentioned I'm into the idea of sole authorship, and I don't want to have to be responsible for that guy's work. If you know somebody and trust them, there's certainly nothing wrong with sending work out. I'm not criticizing anybody who does that, but it's just not my thing. I get plenty of business doing what I love to do, and that way I don't have to rely on somebody else's potentially sloppy workmanship and or their time frame and or interfacing my customer service with somebody else's work. So that's my reasoning. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what you suggest, but I don't do it. No, I mean, I take that back. Every once in a while, I don't do hand engraving, for example, and I made a signet ring recently. I sent it to a good friend of mine in Tucson who does hand engraving. But that's pretty unique. I do 99% of what I do in shop.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
And this one looks like it, and if you do have questions, you can type those in your question box in the right-hand corner of your toolbar. But we do have another question that's for the two of you, and that is, do either of you use any additional software like ZBrush, Maya, in conjunction with Rhino?
You want to take that first, Rafael?
No, it's all for you. I think it's all for you.
Okay. All right. With one minor exception, I do not. I'm a big fan of bare bones Rhino. I appreciate the heck what Rafael is doing here with two shapes, is being able to provide access for a custom process to people who, as he said, don't want to go through that learning curve. But I've found that my clients tend to really like the full-on design process, the idea of starting from scratch. And so I do not use, I have ZBrush, and I have to say I wish I could get familiar with it. The interface for ZBrush has been really daunting to me. The one program that I use interfacing with Rhino is one that's pretty obscure, and it does one thing only, and it allows you to take a grayscale two-dimensional image and convert it to a 3D surface, and it's called ZSurf. You can find it if you look for it, and I have it in a zip file that I can share with somebody if they want it. But in my classes that I give for bare bones Rhino, I do share ZSurf with my students, and then encourage them to use it because it's pretty cool. I think that's the one thing I don't find fault with Rhino too much, but the one thing that it's easier for me using ZSurf than it is using their height field is the getting height field surfaces, and ZSurf seems to do a little better job at that currently than Rhino.
Yeah, from a point of view, I think, for example, the question was ZBrush or Maya, then probably all that you can do in Maya can do it in Rhino. And in the case of ZBrush, it's another style of modeling. It's more for organic modeling, to create animals and textures and all these things. Some of these things you can do it in subdivision in the new Rhino 7 with all the subdivision tools. Then if you need to do a dolphin, you need to do some organic things. Now Rhino 7 is super cool. Then it's not easy to translate one technology, because Rhino use the technology, NURBS and meshes and so on. But in the case of ZBrush, they use voxeling modeling. Then it's not as easy like go back and okay, then I think there are very few cases that you need to go to ZBrush from my point of view. Okay, depending of what you are doing, but probably 95% of the cases you can do it with Rhino.
Yeah, I agree. And especially as you mentioned, I'm glad you mentioned the Rhino 7 work in progress. I'm using it already in my design process, and anything from a subtle modification to get a slightly more organic profile to a ring to, as you say, real organic things. The Sub D edition that's already accessible to people who own Rhino 6 is a huge leap forward in organic modeling capabilities in Rhino. So yeah, I think that along with that, you're absolutely right. There's not much need to go anywhere else. And that's how I feel about it anyway.
I think we have time for one more question. This is for both of you. Have you or anyone you know ever used the iPad app Shaper 3D? I keep seeing it advertised on Instagram and would like to see if anyone has any experience with it. It's spelled SHAPR 3D.
I have no experience with it. I'm not even sure I've heard of it. There's a lot of there's Blender. I just now heard of Shaper. There's half a dozen others, Rafael, you may know of more than I do.
Yeah, well, usually I don't use software that I don't develop. That just the thing it's designing an iPad. Okay, designing an iPad is complicated. Okay, then do modifications in an iPad is possible. A full design, creating curves and all these things, probably for size of the device, it's complicated. For example, two shapes works great on a cell phone. Then I can because all the computation is on the server. Then it's super nice that you can modify all the parameters of a ring in a phone, but it's not the size correct to do that. Then I think the iPad, I didn't try that because I didn't try that kind of application because I used it in the past just to play, and I don't know, it's not I don't have the precision that they have in a mouse. Okay, then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, that's all the time that we have time for questions and answers, and we thank you both for giving us a great insight on custom, couple different ways to do custom, a couple of and a lot of insight on the custom, doing custom jewelry. So we thank you for that. Thank you for joining us on the webinar today. And if you did submit a question that we did not have time to answer, we will be sure to respond to you directly. We know your time is valuable and we really appreciate your participation in today's webinar. If you do have any questions for us or would like any more information, please feel free to contact us by visiting our website at www.solidscape.com. You'll also be receiving a replay of the recording in your email the next day. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Rafael. And thank you all for attending today. We really appreciate it and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Diane,
Thank you.
and thanks to
All right.
Shapeways, Solidscape, and Prodways for allowing us this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.